Well, hello, challengees, and welcome to the Always Better Challenge Show, the show that helps you take steps today for a better and happier tomorrow. I'm Joe Bedford, your host, and I'm going to change up things up a little bit today in that I want to remind you about this at the beginning of the video as well as at the end. I'm going to ask you to do it right now before we get started. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please click subscribe below so that you can get all the episodes of the show. So that you can watch those if you want to, and that helps the show as well show up higher in the search results and all that good stuff. Another thing that I haven't asked so much in the past that I'm going to start asking is, please click like for the video if you do like it. Now, don't be dishonest with me here. If you do not approve of the topic, that's a good way to give me feedback as well. But click like if you're enjoying the video, and please feel free to comment below as well. I'd like to get some discussion going on these videos. So those are the three things I'm asking you to do today. Now, as always, we're going to start today's show with a quote, and today's quote is, "A musician must make music. An artist must paint. A poet must write, if he is to be ultimately at peace with himself. What a man can be, he must be." And I'm not sure who to attribute today's quote to. It might be Abraham Maslow. I'm not sure. Abraham Maslow is well known for the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which actually would be a good topic, I'll bet, for a future episode. So we might get to that later. But that one was mentioned in conjunction with Maslow, but I'm not sure if he was the first one to say it. So today's show is another product review, similar to the show that we did on Quicken 2018 recently. And the product that we're going to review today is a product by a company called Transcendence Goal. And this is a special pack. It is a two-pack, I guess you can call it, of two of their training programs, which are called Personal Transformation Mastery and Goal Crusher. And I'm very excited to talk about this product today. Now, here's the story. I was actually approached by the company, and they asked me to give a look at their product, let them know what I thought of it, and they were hoping that possibly I would share it with my audience, which I have decided to do. They did this because they felt, what they said was that what our product does or what our product is about really seems to match up with what your show is about. And so we think your audience would be folks that might be interested in our product. Now, again, full disclosure. I want to make this point very clear. I am going to put a link down below today's video in the show notes. And this link, you can click on, and I'll give more details later on as far as what you get when you click on the link. There is a free thing that you can get by clicking on the link, but there is also a link to purchase this product if you are interested in doing so. If you do purchase the product, I and the show, we do receive a small commission. I want to be very, very clear and upfront about that. And I want to discuss this a little bit. I know in the past sometimes I've been guilty of belaboring points, so I don't want to belabor this one, but yet at the same time it is an important point that I very much want to make and want to drive home. So I can imagine some of you thinking, oh, well, Joe is doing a show about a product and he gets a commission off of this product, so that's what this show's going to be about now. It's all about making money. Is that right, Joe? And I can't stress enough that absolutely not. That is absolutely not what this show is about. The mission of this show is to help people. And you can say, well, that sounds good for you to say, Joe, but why should we believe you? Well, here's why you should believe me. I am presenting this show absolutely for free. And anybody who wants to can, and let's be honest, it's a big time commitment I'm making. I'm doing these shows every weekday. 5 minutes minimum, 30 minutes maximum has been how it's been going so far. So I'm putting a lot of my own time into putting these shows out there. And they are here for you and for everyone for free. So anybody that wants to can watch every single show that I put out there for free. And you don't have to pay a dime for that. I'm cool with that if you don't pay a dime for it. As long as you get value out of the show, that's what I'm hoping for. But here's the other side of the equation. This show does cost an amount of money to make, and I am paying that out of my own pocket. Now, I'm not telling you it's a big amount of money. It's not, but there are some costs associated with putting this show out. So if I can defray some of those costs by shows like today, then I think that's cool. The other point that I want to make is, yes, my mission, and I mean this from my heart. My mission with this show is to help people, to help them have better lives. And if I can help in that way, then that's what I want to do. So if I want to help folks, well, that means that I want to try to get over time as many folks watching the show as I can. We're getting, I'm happy with, we're off to a good start, I think. I think we're at 20 subscribers right now, and I'm not sure how many views I have over the whole channel, but each show is getting some views, and I love that, and I love each and every one of you, and appreciate each and every one of you who are watching. But I want to help more people. I want to help as many people as I can. I know there are other folks out there that would get something out of watching this show, and I've got to find them and grow the audience over time. And that is going to take money. That is going to take money. So those are two things that I'm thinking about. So as I say, I don't want to belabor that point. I do want to make the point, crystal clear that if you never buy a single thing or put a single penny in my pocket and you just watch the show all the time and you get something out of it, I am so cool with that. I mean it. Do that. That's great. However, I'm going to present things from time to time that I think might benefit you. I've already presented a lot of things that I don't have any sort of relationship with the companies that make those. So I'm going to do that as well. Anything I think might help you, I'm going to put it out there, and then I'm going to let you decide whether or not it is right for you. So enough about that. I suppose, like I said, I wanted to make that point very clear, but I don't want to belabor it. Another thing I want to let you know about the program that I'm talking about today is that this is a program that I have used myself. This is not me, selling you something as a paid spokesperson that I have not used myself. I've used this myself. I ran through the program myself. It took me a few hours to go through it. I did run through it the first time. I tried to really keep moving on it and moved through it rather quickly. I do plan to run through it again a little more slowly and a little more deliberately, so that I really want to make sure that I get the most out of the information in there. And besides, it's going to be good to review this information, and it's certainly something that anybody that uses this product can do, which is you can go through it more than once. So today's show is going to be a review, and again, and I hope this proves that what I've said before is true, which is that I want this show to serve. So I'm going to give a review of the product today, and it's not going to be some glowing, perfect 5-star review where I tell you everything about this product is perfect. I'm going to do my very best to give you an honest review, what I honestly think about this program. I'm going to mention some of the good and some of the bad. So, and again, I hope that shows that my heart is in the right place on this. So first, let me talk about what you get with this program. The meat, I guess, of the program, the main thing that you're getting here is you're getting 2 books. Because like I said, this is sort of a twin pack. The Personal Transformation Mastery is one part of the program, and the Goal Crusher is a second part. So each one of those parts has a book associated with that, and the books are approximately 100 pages each. So you're getting 200 pages. Now, this is a digital format or program that you're getting. It's going to be a download. So those books are going to be electronic books, but the books are in electronic format. So 200 pages there. You also get several videos which review, different portions of the program. And the videos add up to about an hour and a half, about 90 minutes approximately, are the lengths of the videos provided with this program. You also get audio versions of the videos. So this is not separate content, but just if you'd rather listen rather than watch, kind of like I've mentioned you can do with our show, you're going to get the audio version of all the videos as well. You're also included. There's lots of extras. There are a list of resources, a lot like I do with the show, where I tell you some websites and different things that I think might be helpful to you in your journey. They include some stuff like that. They also include some forums, like discussion forums on the internet, where you can go and get value there. So lots of little extras, some checklists, which I'll talk about before or later I've sort of put those in the pro category, or some of the checklists and step actions that are given. Some mind maps, which just to really quickly go over that, if you're not familiar with that concept at all, but so a mind map, like think about if you were brainstorming some big project you were working on, and you had like a big piece of paper, and so you might write your central or main goal in the middle, and then you might sort of shoot out from that with some arrows and say, well, so this would be one component of that, and one component and one component, and then you could even break off from there. So I'm hoping that gives you an idea of what a mind map looks like, if that's something you're not familiar with. You're talking about that in detail beyond the scope of today's episode, although again, that would make probably a great topic for a future episode. Mind mapping is a great tool and technique that you can use for goals and brainstorming, lots of things. So it gives you some mind maps for the program. Also, you're going to get a partial transcript of the audios and videos that I mentioned previously. The reason I say partial is, if I recall correctly, the transcripts are for the Goal Crushers section only. They did not provide transcripts for the Personal Transformation Mastery part. I guess we could possibly list that as a con, that we only have the transcripts for the one but not the other. But so if you'd rather read the audio video content rather than watch it or listen to it, or if you want to do all three to really get it in your brain, that's an option for you, at least with part of the program. So first I want to list some of the pros, some of the things that I liked about the program, and then as promised I will also mention some cons or some things that I thought could have been better. So my first pro is that, as the folks at Transcendence Goal told me, I agree with them. Their message very closely matches the message of this show. So if you're interested in this show, I think you might possibly be interested in this product. Here are some of the things that the program hits on, and tell me if these sound familiar to you if you've watched some or all of my previous episodes of the show. They talk about motivation. They talk about procrastination and how that can be a hindrance. They talk about fear and how that can be a hindrance. They talk about self-confidence and how that can be a benefit. They talk about the importance of health, the importance of good habits, and of course the drawbacks of bad habits. They talk about, does this sound familiar? How to set SMART goals, something that we totally talked about on a previous episode of the show. They talk about mindfulness, the importance of mindset. So many of the topics that they're hitting on are the exact same topics that we have hit on in the show. So yes, I agree that their message is very in tune with the message of this show. So I definitely list that as a pro. A second pro that I'm going to list, a second thing I liked about the program, is that there was an obvious effort put into making this stuff as actionable as possible. That's always a thing with these self-help, or personal development type programs, is you can read a book, but then after you've taken in all that information, okay, now I've got all this information, what do I do with it? I really feel that they've shown that they've put an effort, and as I mentioned previously in the episode, where they've done things like checklists, or like a 5-step summary or a 7-step summary. So they've definitely made, I think, a real good effort to give you actionable stuff to take out of this program and to use at the end. Because that's the thing with any of these programs, the information is only as good as what you do with it. So, what steps can you take after going through the program that are actual concrete things that are going to make your life better and that are going to help you transform your life. So I think they've done a good job with that. Another thing I liked about the program is just, I don't know how to say, I hope I'm not saying this too simply, but it's just that it's good stuff. It's good, positive stuff. It's the same kind of stuff that I try to present on this show, and all of that helps. Any positive thing that you put in your mind helps. So, you know, I could almost, probably mangling metaphors a little bit here, but the idea of a rising tide lifting all boats. So this is a rising tide. No matter where your boat is, you know, I think it's going to be lifted up by going through this program. And, you know, another point kind of goes along with that is that, in my opinion at least, investing in yourself is always a good investment. And unfortunately, I think it's an investment that a lot of people don't make enough of. We don't invest enough into our own improvement and self-improvement. So those are some things that I really liked about the program. Now, as promised, I'm going to mention a few things that I'm going to put in the con category, or things that I didn't like as much or that I thought could have been better. The first one is a pretty minor one. It did take me half a second to figure out the organization of the program, or to figure out how to move through the program. And that's not a big deal. I mean, you could probably move through it most any way you wanted to, but I wanted to do it in the most efficient way. So sort of just to give you a preview, if you do go through the program yourself, you're probably going to want to start with the ebook and read through the ebook. So you want to find that and go through that. I'd say probably first. You could then, if you wanted to, either go through the audios or videos or both to sort of, you know, highlight or delve deeper into some of the concepts from the ebook. And then you can dig into all the extras, all the checklists and the step actions. The one thing that it took me a while to figure out too is that, at least this was with the Personal Transformation Mastery, the first part. I'm not sure if they did this with Goal Crusher, but they gave you the whole ebook, but then they gave you, I believe they called it like individual study guides. So that's also the ebook, but just broken up into these individual chunks, which I think is a good idea, but it took me, like I say, a half a second when I went in there first to figure it out. I actually started with the individual study guides and then went to the ebook, and then I was like, oh, this is the same stuff I just went through. So that, you know, I almost wonder if the program would have benefited from having like one sheet when you go in that sort of explains how the program's laid out in the different ways that you can go through it. So hopefully, you know, I've helped you with that here, but that was one con that I mentioned. The second con that I'm going to mention is that, since we're dealing, you know, primarily with books here, I mean, like I say, that's the meat of the program. You know, I am going to be honest and say that the gentleman, and I believe it was a gentleman, I actually believe it was a young gentleman who wrote the books, you know, he's an okay writer. I can't tell you that he's the best writer in the world. And another thing that kind of goes along with that is there are some typos in the book that I noticed, you know, so that was a drawback to me, a little bit of a distraction. And so, yeah, he's not an awful writer, but he's no Charles Dickens either. So, you know, I'll just make that point up front. He's very earnest, and I believe the information he provides is useful and valuable, but the writing is just okay. Sort of going along with that is that I believe the author is European. That I picked that up from some of the, you know, the way, the words he used and the way he expressed himself. And so that, not that that's a con necessarily, but as an American reader, it was just something to be aware of, that we were, you know, had slightly different, you know, reference points. And I'm not going to go into any detail actually on this one point, but there was one, I'm laughing to myself. If you go through the course, I'll bet you'll be able to figure out the part I'm talking about. There was one part that something that he went into as an area for personal improvement that was a little, what shall we say, personal, for want of a better word. Like I say, I don't want to go into detail here, but again, I think it was that European perspective where there are things that they're a little more open about, shall we say, than perhaps our American counterparts would be. So that was something to be aware of, and that was a little, you know, that threw me a little bit when he went into this one quite personal topic. I also did mention that and I believe he does at some point mention his age in here, the author. I want to say he was in his 30s, and so just, you know, just that his viewpoint, the way he expresses himself sort of reflects that. Not that that's a good or a bad, but just something to be aware of. You know, again, where he's coming from just a slightly different place than I Another con to the book for me was there weren't a lot, but there were just one or two things that I just disagreed with. I just disagreed with his ideas on one or two things. There weren't a lot, and you know, what are you going to say? No author should be expected to be in 100% agreement with me on anything, or with you on anything. There's room for some disagreement, but that's just something to be aware of. You want to still use your critical thinking skills on the information you're getting, decide if that makes sense for you. There was at least one time in particular that really jumped out at me, and again, unless I misread something, where I felt like some of the material was a little contradictory, in other words, contradicting itself. The one that really jumped out at me was, there was one time when he was talking about goal setting, and he was saying, don't get hung up on having a deadline, which if you've watched my show, you know I disagree with. You know that I believe that goals should be time-bound, that actually helps you in achieving those goals. And he was saying, oh, that might stress you out or give you one more thing to worry about, so don't worry so much about having a time part of it. But of course, then later he talks about SMART goals, just like I told you about, and of course one component of that is making it time-bound. So it was a little bit of a contradiction, I thought there. You know, to put a positive spin on it, I guess I like that he's presenting another perspective or another way of looking at it, and so maybe that's the way I should think about it. Another con, this is not so much a con. For me, it's a positive. For some folks, it might be a con. And the way I could think that some of the marketing material on this could be confusing. So that is a con. So I do want to make clear to you that this is a digital program. This program is going to be delivered to you digitally. So the ebooks are going to be PDF files on your computer, as are any of the other written material. The videos are going to be MP4, video files. The audio is going to be MP3 audio files. You're not going to get a book or CDs or DVDs. And some of the marketing material I felt like kind of shows pictures that kind of makes you think that is what you're getting. So I just want you to be aware, yeah, you're getting the actual content that would be in a book and on a DVD and a CD, but you're not getting those actual physical copies. So I want to be very clear on that. And as I said, that may be a con for some folks. I know personally I love the convenience and the ease of having it digital. So for me, that part of it wasn't a con, but it could be for some. I want to make sure you're very aware that it is a digital product. All right, so I think that's it for the review part. It looks like this episode may be a little bit shorter than some, but that's about all I have to say about it. There is a link below if you are interested in finding out more about this product. Now, you can click the link without buying the product, and you actually are going to get something for free by clicking on the link. If you click on the link, they do ask for your email address. You will have to provide that. In exchange for your email address, they will give you a free resource guide. It's called 5 Steps to a Better You. It's an 11-page document, so not bad for free. And they do, then once they have your email address, they do send out other emails, which you may find beneficial. And of course, they're free. And of course, if you don't find them beneficial, you can unsubscribe from them. As far as the course itself, and as I said, if you click on the link and get the free resource guide, they're also going to give you their rundown of the program. They're going to tell you, their version of what they want you to know about the program. And then there is a link where you can click to buy it if you want to. The cost of the program is $47. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that, so you've got that information, but of course that's in the link when you click it as well. So just sort of to sum up, yes, I do feel like this program is beneficial. I feel like I got something out of it. I personally, though, feel like any positive, motivational information that I take in, as well as, sort of reviewing some information, I feel like that's beneficial. One other point I might want to make as far as pros, cons, this could go either way. I think there is a certain person, that's, again, the thing with these self-help things is you don't know where everyone is at on their journey. And so you can't make a program that's for everybody no matter where they're at on their journey. Well, maybe you can, but it's going to be better for some than for others. So who is this program the best for? I think this program is going to be best for someone who's fairly early in their journey as far as personal transformation. Maybe somebody that hasn't done a lot in the past as far as going through a lot of courses like this, or reading a lot of self-help, or really, working on trying to be better at goals and etc. The person who's going to get the most out of this, I think, my opinion, is someone who's earlier on that journey. Now, if you're further along, if you're more advanced, you've already done some of this and you're looking for the more advanced hacks and whatnot, you might get some, but it's going to be less of that. I still, I personally feel like I'm a little further along the goal than, or the road than right at the beginning. I feel like I've done a lot of work on trying to improve myself, and I've studied a lot of courses and books before. So, but I still feel like I got something out of it. Like I say, just the positive reinforcement, the review, and maybe one or two more tidbits. I feel like I got something out of it, but I do feel like that person earlier in the journey would be the person who would get the most out of it. So I will call that a pro and a con depending on where you are in your journey. But that's my honest opinion on that. As I've said, any program like this, it's only going to be as good as what you do with it. So if you do buy the program, do make sure you go through it and then take the action steps, to get the results. That's what we're after at the end of the day, is results, right? So if you do go through the program, please let me know what you think. You can comment on the video, you can email me, do it on Facebook, social media, reach out to me, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that could have been better. Let me know if there's anything about the information that I'm giving you today that could have been better. I want to know that. And again, I don't want this to be a big sales pitch. Yes, I get a small commission if you purchase this product. If you don't think this product is right for you, I do not want you to buy it, okay? But if you think it might help you, then get the information, give it, and if you decide to, give it a try. That fair enough? That's it for today. As always, please subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Please share the show with friends that you think might be interested. Please sign up for our email list. You can do that at the website, abetterchallenge.com or alwaysbetterchallenge.com. Either one works. I've started posting all the videos on the website too, so that's a different way that you can access those if you'd like to. And I'd like to get I'd like to get some more folks on the email list. I've got some, and I'd like to get more. I send out an email every weekday. I include a motivational quote, I include a thought for the day, and then I include links to both the previous show and then a preview of the upcoming show. So again, there's a little bit of work with that, so I'd like to reach as many people as I can with that. We've got a Facebook group. Consider signing up for that as well. That's it. That's the show. Thanks so much for watching the Always Better Challenge show. I'm your humble host, Joe Bedford. As always, go out there now and make it happen.